What's up, people? This is KM.Little right here. Celebrities are going broke, and this is the downfall of the music industry. So let's go ahead and get straight into it.
The song came out. Let's say at the time the song streamed 70 million streams. If I own 20% of the song or 25% of the song, and it did 70 million streams, and it's $3,000 per million stream. So it's 3,000 times 70.
Right.
200.
So 210,000. Spotify collects the streams, and then they pay the publishers. There's a fixed percentage on the publishing side, based on the relationship between Spotify and the music publishers. So that $210,000 that song made had to be bust down. My take on that 210, my take home was probably $1,500. And I went, this is how the math worked. It was this simple. Look, it was this simple. If I'd have put that song out myself and only had 3 million streams, I'd have made $10,000. So I stopped giving records to artists. I'm like, I could give you this record and you could fail and I can get a percentage of your failure, or I could take 100% of my failure and I could take that to the bank.
Right.
What was the biggest shock for either of you guys when you got to the industry?
Half the industry is broke.
And
that shocked me.
That's
I
a
would
good
see,
one.
I
That's
would
a good
see
one.
celebrities. I would be around celebrities, rappers. No offense, but a bunch of them that's like wearing all the big jewelry or on Instagram. It's all a facade, and that's when it was like for me. I was like, wow, okay, I can breathe.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
Because y'all ain't even keeping up with the Joneses yourself.
It's
Right.
rentals.
It's rentals.
It's rentals. It's like Miami.
I'm
Or like
honest,
whenever they rent the cars and drive around or whatever, and then like return them.
yes.
Yeah.
The Lambos.
Yeah.
It's
It's all the Lambos. Yeah.
Or even with jewelry. I think I didn't
Yeah.
realize a lot of that was that like, oh, they buy these pieces to wear in a music video or at a carpet, and then they take them back to the jeweler. These
Yeah.
are like their actual pieces when it comes to rap and hip hop culture.
That's very true. Because even when I worked in hip hop, it was interesting just to see and hear stuff. Like, not, and again, not trying to put anybody on blast or whatever. I could name people if you wanted me to, but correct. Like, you never know. But that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, you do not know. And that's why.
See, the thing is with rappers, you get like a loan from your label. The label give you $1 million, $2 million, 500,000, 200K, whatever it might be. So when you get the 200K, 500K, $1 million or whatever from your label, it's people first time having that amount of money in their bank account. So it's just like you give somebody who never had that amount of money at one time, and then you just wonder what they're gonna do with it. You know what they're gonna do with it? They're going to go buy a chain. They're going to go buy a house. They're going to go buy a car. They're going to go buy this, that it is. And they'll really have it. You're going to really have the money. You're going to go do a show and get 20K for it. You're going to go do a show and get 50K or however much it might be at the time. But the thing is, it's always the money management what makes people go broke. And I'm not saying I'm the best at money management. I never had 500K, never had even 20K a lot at one time. But it's the money management part that you give somebody who never had a lot of money at one time and you put it inside their hands. What do you think they're gonna do with it? Look at the people who became a millionaire just by winning the lottery. In 5 years they back broke. Just like these rappers, like you give them, they rich at one time, but then 2 years, 3 years down the line they back broke. They have a high overhead. They go buy the highest. They gonna go stay in a penthouse. They're gonna go stay in the highest. They're going to go rent out a spot for $8,000. They're going to go rent out a Lambo for $1,000 a day. They're like, bro, I don't care. I got paid 20K for a show. I don't care about rent out no Lambo. But they might actually own a Lambo, and the Lambo payment might be $5,000 a month. But then they're going to go rent out a Lambo when they go to Florida. They go do a show for 20K. And then they doing that. They're going to be in Florida for about a good 2 weeks or a week or something like that. And that's $7,000. And you better not hope that somebody crash it. Then you come out of more money. Because they be letting their homeboy drive Lambos and stuff like that, and everything is in your name. So it's just like, bro, like it's not really a facade that they putting on. They really have it, but it's the money management that make them go broke.
Cannot look at somebody and be envious.
Never.
Over any of this.
There's only a few artists in the game that really make money. So everything you seeing ain't real. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time somebody's put me on game when it comes to the entertainment business.
You know, I wrote raps, I wrote verses, I wrote songs for over a decade and had never earned a penny. And of course,
How long you wrote for?
over a decade.
So today, Ray Daniels tweeted that about 50 artists and label execs were laid off from Atlantic Records. And I can't even lie, I kind of saw this coming. Now, I'm only speaking from the artist perspective when I say that artists gotta stop chasing record deals. It is no longer valuable. And it's especially no longer valuable when you have tools like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, social media. As an artist, if you're using these platforms to produce content rather than consume it, you can build your own brand. We are in an age where the labels are gonna have to come to you. We don't live in an age where you make demo tapes and send them off and go to talent shows anymore. That's the 90s, my boy. This the new age. Also understand that you're competing with people like Casanat, Drewskis, the Speeds. These are the people that can command attention. The streamers are the new movie stars. So the best thing the artist can do is become your own brand. So coming out and just pushing your music, yeah, that's fine. You know, and it really only works if you're super, super, super talented or if you have a super huge team behind you. But if you don't, the internet is your best friend.
Touring, or if you're not getting it through other means, this music shit is a rap. I'm saying all of the musicians are broke. Relative to what you bring in.
Now, I do think that there is plenty of ways to make money as independents. Low overhead. It's not expensive to make these albums. You're making them at home or wherever, and you're building a reasonable fan base, and you're selling physical and merch. Not everyone is broke, but in terms of like the superstar thing, I agree with you.
But like you said, to what you're bringing in, what you getting?
And my conversation now is not really about. It's not really about independent acts.
Yeah, okay.
My conversation is about what's going on in the majors. They tricking y'all with the words in these contracts. They tricking y'all into thinking that y'all are real partners. They tricking y'all with the, hey, you own your stuff. The recent layoffs tell me that. You don't see all these people getting laid off?
All over.
They laid off like 40%, right?
Everywhere.
Media too.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And look, and to me, based on what you're saying, that went to our AR conversation. The second that we can have 6 people instead of 60, y'all gone.
So this is definitely not a drill. Atlantic/Warner is planning to fire and let go over 100 people. I'm sorry, 150. Actually, 170. And not only is this super unfortunate for the employees that are affected, I do see optimism for them, but I also want to share my small, itsy-bitsy critique, or commentary, if you will. I don't want anybody coming after me. But basically, the company is restructuring, and so many people are going to be affected by this restructuring. We kind of already knew this in the beginning of this year when Universal did their mass layoffs, when all the other tech companies did their mass layoffs. But what I find really interesting, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard this morning that they are restructuring Atlantic into like a distribution company, which in theory, I guess it makes sense. But if they honestly think that's the model that's going to make them financially sustainable, they're inaccurate and wrong. My humble opinion. Now, for the artists and young executives that are affected, although it fucking sucks to get fired or lose a team member, please use this as fuel. Sure, you could work at another label, sure. But use the internet to your advantage and build your own shit.
It was a time where I thought that everybody had money except me. I would see motherfuckers do these music video shoots and motherfuckers got chains and cars and all type of shit. And I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 motherfuckers. So there was a time where I was really thinking, bro, why do everybody got money and I don't got no money? Is it because I'm independent? The truth is everybody didn't have no money. But, you know, they don't tell you that because the label's job is to make it look like you got some money. We'll give you the car, we're going to give you the cosigns, we're going to put you in the studio with this motherfucker, we're going to have cameras following you around everywhere you go. I was thinking like, damn, everybody getting money but me. But nah, everybody look like they got money except me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I got caught up in...
It's just like this, like with the baby, right? The baby was saying this. He a smart businessman too, though, right? A lot of these artists, if the label offered to buy you a private jet to go to a different city, buy you a Lambo, rent out a Lambo for you, rent out a penthouse or a high-end hotel, or either rent out a spot for you to, they'll pay for your music videos, so they'll be paying dancers, they'll be paying directors and stuff like that. What else? A lot of stuff, even they pay for your outfits, they'll pay for your makeup artists, they'll even go buy chains and stuff for you. So labels will do everything to have you to look like a good brand and to have an identity. But the problem is when the label buy all of this stuff, so once they give you that $1 million, they're going to tag that private jet, they're going to tag everything that they bought for you, and then they're going to take it out of your earnings So that's the reason why a lot of people don't even get the owner. They don't become the owner of their music because they owe so much money by the label doing these things for them. But some artists be like, oh, you know, like, man, they just doing it because, you know, they just doing it because they love me at my label. No, they really writing it off. They writing it off, and then they saying you gonna pay them back. So it's just like you becoming an indentured slave to somebody that you would never be able to own not one piece of music that you own. I mean, that you put out. And that's the reason why a lot of artists don't want to put out any music, because you're not even making no money from it.
Layoffs, but it was more of a layup than a layoff for me.
Okay.
Because I knew this was coming.
For you, or you knew it was coming, period?
Both. I knew it was coming for me. Last year around this time, I was having issues with my contract, and that's when I was like, something's wrong.
Yep.
And I was like, let me start setting up my plan A. I've always had a plan A if I had a job. And the plan A was whatever I was hustling for, you know what I'm saying? So if I had a job, if I was a custodian, I was doing something else on the side, you feel me?
Yeah, for sure.
So it was never one thing that I had all my eyes in, you know what I'm saying? So with the music business, it was no different. I have never done every single thing the right way the first time. I'm not perfect or none of that. I've had some ups and downs, but I've had more victories than losses.
Google fired its entire U2 music team while the employees were in the middle of testifying before the Austin City Council. A group of less than 50 employees were testifying about their unionization efforts when they were informed of their sudden termination.
They just laid us all off.
Oh.
Yeah, they just laid us all off.
We just all, I guess we just all
Our
got
jobs are ended today, effective immediately.
Last year, the U2 music team voted to unionize under the Alphabet Workers Union, seeking better pay, benefits, and a flexible return to office policy. However, Google refused to negotiate, arguing that because the employees are contractors, their contractor Cognizant is responsible for bargaining. But the National Labor Relations Board ruled that Google and Cognizant are joint employers of the U2 music team. And the NLRB said that Google's refusal to bargain with the U2 music workers is illegal. Still, in a statement to Fortune, a spokesperson for Google claims the Austin-based workers are not Google employees, saying Cognizant is responsible for them. Google also denied that it fired the workers, saying this was a routine end of contract that was agreed on with Cognizant. But the workers say the termination was a surprise, and many feel as if they could lose their homes due to the sudden and unexpected layoff.
I'm really starting to think that the music industry and the celebs that are in it have been fooling us all this time. I do not think any of them have money at all. I mean, cash poor type shit. And there's a good reason for that. People like Gucci and Christian Dior and Louis Vuitton, they are the Rolex and the Bentleys of the fashion industry. So they do not need a celebrity to showcase their latest design to sell it. They don't. So when you see these rappers and singers and stuff in the music industry showing their clothes and their houses and all that stuff, I really think they're getting all that stuff on credit. In the music industry, it's like, you work for me, we give you all these gifts. Why do you think so many people are in some real fucked up contracts right now? And also, in our community, we always talk about if we had millions of dollars, how we would buy up the block, how we would help our people and stuff. And you don't see them doing that, and people think it's because they're selfish. No, I think it's because they are cash poor and they really cannot help you. It brings me to this. The music industry is very successful in creating images into demeaning us in every single way, and they profit and make lots of money off of that, and we buy into that every time we support them. To us, it's just entertainment, but it really is a real life plan. Now, why would little old me feel this way? Because none of it makes sense. I'm telling you, they are a walking billboard for companies to get black dollars. And why? Because nobody in the entire world spends like black people.
I don't think they too much preying on. I don't think they preying on black people specifically. I think she's just making it like a black thing. People, whoever is a cash cow to them, they don't care what color you is. Honestly, they really don't care. They gonna spend that money on you. They gonna spend money on you to make money. And that's all they is. They business people. They don't care about who you look like, what you look like. It's if you make money. That's all they care about. But if y'all like this video right here, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I'm out. What's good, people? This is KM.Little right here. Thank you for watching this video. In this clip right here, I am showing you my different YouTube channels. They are in the link in the description. If you like this video, I'm pretty sure you will love my other channels. Also, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out.